Welcome in, everyone, to another episode of my Dynasty Fantasy Football YouTube channel. Once again, we had another jam-packed day of NFL free agency, trades, big moves in the NFL. Before we start, I want to remind you, if you like what we're doing here, make sure to like the video, comment, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel. With that said, let's move into our first story. Keenan Allen was traded to the Bears yesterday. They paid pick 110 in this year's draft for Allen. And the biggest story for me is actually on the Chargers side, which is that this is your best sell window imaginable for Quentin Johnston. I thought it was good when Mike Williams was cut. It's even more now. I have to remind you, people don't think that hard. They see the biggest target earners on the 23 Chargers are gone. Keenan Allen gone. Austin Eckler gone. Gerald Everett gone. Those were their top three target earners in 2023. Quentin Johnston did nothing. Zero. 38 catches, 431 yards, and 2 touchdowns in a full 17 games. We know that vacated targets are not a thing. Bad players don't become good when other players leave. That doesn't exist. That's not a real concept. So get that out of your head. And then even worse, he was not acquired by this general manager who was fired or this coaching staff, the Jim Harbaugh coaching staff that came in this offseason. He wasn't acquired by either of those. So that doesn't help. Right now, though, people will look and they will see, well, Quentin Johnston is Justin Herbert's wide receiver 1. Ooh, you have a sell window. Here's some trade ideas if you want to get rid of Quentin Johnston. Maybe for an early mid 24 second. Is that optimistic? A lot of people crap on the 25 class, 25 seconds. And then this one I think maybe is a little pie in the sky, but Johnston and 25 second for 25 first. The Dynasty community kind of doesn't let you get away with this anymore. This used to be a common move you can make. I doubt that that'll work. This 225 seconds is probably more likely, but you never know. Give it a try. Not everyone is super tapped in. So maybe you can get one of these through. And if you can't, then you try. You have nothing to lose. I do also want to note, if you want a cheap wide receiver on the Chargers, Josh Palmer is the way to go. He had the same 38 catches as Quentin Johnston in 2023, the same number, but he only played 10 games, and he put up 581 yards and 2 touchdowns on those, 58.1 yards a game. It's pretty good. So, yeah, I almost feel like Palmer might outperform Johnston in 2024. We'll see. Now, let's move into the Bears side of things. The Bears have Keenan Allen for $23.1 million on an expiring contract. They could extend him or use void years or both to lower that cap number. It's an excellent move for Caleb Williams. They're really preparing the wide receiver room for Caleb Williams. But I will say it's a little bit crowded for a rookie quarterback. We know that even the best rookie quarterbacks, don't usually throw for 5,000 yards as a rookie, even Caleb Williams. So with Keenan Allen on the team, I find it hard to believe that DJ Moore and Cole Kmet are going to duplicate the following stat lines. Look at Moore here, 96 catches, 1,364 yards, 8 touchdowns. Kmet, 73 catches, 719 yards, 6 touchdowns. No other receiver on the Bears had 35 receptions, more than 414 yards, or more than 1 touchdown. Now, I think it's possible that the Bears could bring in another wide receiver in free agency, someone cheap, or they could draft one at 9. That would be kind of crazy. I think the most likely is they trade back from 9. They could pick up more picks or draft one in the 3rd round. They have a 3rd round pick. Now, moving into the Dynasty valuations. DJ Moore, I think, is going to remain the wide receiver 1. I still have him clearly ahead of Keenan Allen. So I moved him down 1 spot to wide receiver 22. Not too bad. The biggest loser here is Keenan Allen himself, who changes teams at 32. That never works out. He goes from being the wide receiver 1 for Justin Herbert to the wide receiver 2 for Caleb Williams as a rookie, which is not going to be as good as veteran Justin Herbert was. And then also a loser, Cole Kmet, tight end 14, tight end 15 in Dynasty. I feel like the ceiling's gone. I can't see him duplicating that line. I think it's going to be even worse. So not as interested in Cole Kmet as I was before, especially not if they draft another wide receiver and with the acquisition of Gerald Everett, which is enough money to say that's going to take Kmet off the field at times. Now, let's move into our next story. This was also exciting. Marquise Brown signed with the Chiefs. 1 year, $7 million up to $11 million with incentives. It's a great move for the Chiefs to get another weapon for Patrick Mahomes. Now, I think that Marquise Brown is the wide receiver 2 behind Rashee Rice. I don't see him as competition for Rice. Brown has had a mixed career. His best season was 2021. 2019, as a rookie, he was okay. 46 catches, 584 yards, 7 touchdowns. Then we kind of had an upgrade, got his 100 targets, 58 catches, 769 yards, and 8 touchdowns. 2021 was the big year. 91 catches, 1,008 yards, 6 touchdowns on 146 targets. He demanded a trade after that, wanted to go to the Cardinals, and it kind of paid off. Not really. I mean, he had 67 catches, 709 yards, 3 touchdowns on 107 targets. But in the 6-game stretch where he was there, healthy, with Kyler Murray, before DeAndre Hopkins was eligible to play, he dominated. He had 7.2 catches, 80.8 yards per game. So he's really good to start off in 2022. And then, of course, in 2023, with Murray's injury, it all kind of fell apart. He had 51 catches on 101 targets, not very efficient, 574 yards, 4 touchdowns, kind of became an afterthought. In general, Marquise Brown succeeded in Arizona when him and Kyler Murray were both healthy. But after that 6-game stretch, he barely shared the field with a healthy Murray after that. For now, I moved Brown from wide receiver 38 to wide receiver 29. I was terrified he would sign in like a bad landing spot, and I didn't think he would succeed there, but he didn't. So he turns 27 in June. This could be a spot for him to rehab his value. Playing with Patrick Mahomes is great for that. And I don't want to push him too high because the Chiefs could still draft a wide receiver in round 1. I'm not concerned if they get someone in, round 2. But if they draft one of the, really good receivers in round 1, that would hurt both Brown and Rice. For now, I didn't move Rice down at all. I don't really see this as a challenge to Rice, as at least, unless they get a round 1 wide receiver, which could still happen. Curtis Samuel signing with the Bills. And this kind of surprised me. I didn't think that they'd be going after a Curtis Samuel type, considering they already had Khalil Shakir. 3 years, $24 million up to $30 million with $15 million guaranteed. It's important to note, Curtis Samuel and Khalil Shakir totaled less than 10 snaps between the two of them in 2 wide receiver sets in 2023. This is not a compliment. This is a replacement for Khalil Shakir. Both players are undersized. Both players, majority played in the slot, never played in 2 wide receiver sets in 2023. This is a replacement. Curtis Samuel, I think, was a lot better than people remember over the last 2 years. Almost identical stat lines. 64 catches, 656 yards, 4 touchdowns in 2022. 62 catches, 613 yards, 4 touchdowns in 2023. He also had some rushing game work, especially in 2022. This does not absolve the Bills from still needing a big body Gabe Davis replacement. They still do not have that X receiver. Stephon Diggs, he is an alpha receiver, but is not really in that mold. So they're still looking for someone in that role. And I'm kind of disappointed for Shakir. He was pretty good in 2023, really efficient. 39 catches, turned him into 611 yards, 2 touchdowns. Didn't have the volume, but the efficiency was there. It kind of sucks. I really hope they would sign a big body guy and Shakir could continue to own that slot role. The signing means that the Bills are going to move to more 11 personnel. It's hard to kind of shake all of this out. I'm not that interested in either player. Samuel's contract was bigger than I thought it would be, so I moved him up a few spots. He might get a good chance to show some relevancy. Unfortunately, I moved Shakir down about 5 spots. I just don't see how he's going to get involved. But since he flashed and showed talent, I don't want to drop him too far in my rankings. Now, today, and I didn't see this coming, Kenny Pickett was traded to the Eagles. It's an end to the short-lived Pickett-Russell Wilson saga. Apparently, Pickett was badly behaved and showed poor attitude after the Russell Wilson trade. So I get why they made the move. Pickett and pick 120 for 98 and 2.25 It's such an irrelevant trade. I guess the Eagles got a veteran backup than they wanted. I have no interest in Kenny Pickett. None at all. He's never shown any fantasy upside. Now he's a pure backup. He averaged 11.6 rushing yards a game, Didn't deliver there. One career 300-yard game as a passer. Didn't deliver there. So I don't really see any reason to be interested in Pickett. I dropped him into the clear backup range. Quarterback 38. He'll be like around 45 once the rookies come in. Interestingly, though, I had the Eagles on my kind of short list as a destination for Justin Fields. Guess that's not going to happen. The Steelers now also need a backup quarterback for Wilson. Mason Rudolph signed with the Titans. So what are they going to do? Could they take a quarterback in the second round at 51, in the third at 84 or 98? Maybe. Could they sign a veteran backup? Either way, I see Russell Wilson as the clear starter in 2024, at least until the Steelers are really bad potentially, or Wilson gets hurt. Got one last chance to relaunch his career. No more distraction from Kenny Pickett. So he's going to get a fair opportunity. And let's see what Russell Wilson does this year. Next piece of news. And honestly, this one stunned me. Joe Mixon signed an extension with the Texans. I don't know why they did this. They only gave up a 7th-round pick to get him, and they committed to him long-term when they had him under contract for 2024. He turns 28 in the summer, so they gave him 3 additional years, $27 million, with an additional $13 million guaranteed for some reason, and that money doesn't even start to kick in until his age 29 season. I don't get it. Mixon has not been good for years. He looks plodding. He looks slow. He looks bad. I don't understand this. I got trading for him. Use him for 1 year. He is a veteran. He fit in well. This extension, I do not understand. So, as you can see, there's this efficiency there. He's only had 1 efficient season ever in his career, 2018. I did move him up a few spots because this dictates that he's going to be in the NFL in 2025. I don't think that was guaranteed before. But this is your absolute last sell window for Joe Mixon. He has not been good. His volume has been the only thing kind of pushing him forward. And we know that volume is very fickle. It can be taken away at any time. So if you can get any mid-second, I would just take it and move on from Joe Mixon before there's no value left to move on from. I don't think you're missing out on that much. Couple more. A.J. Dillon re-signs with the Packers. And this was a bizarre 1-year deal. 4-year qualifying offer. I'd never heard of it. It's worth up to 1.45 more than the minimum. But only the minimum salary part counts against the salary cap. It's very strange. Either way, I'm not interested in Dillon here, especially on such a low deal. In 2023, he got some work, but he was very inefficient. 3.4 yards a carry, only had 22 catches, 2 touchdowns. He didn't deliver as a receiver, didn't deliver at the goal line, didn't deliver in efficiency. So he just didn't deliver at all. Josh Jacobs is significantly more of a workhorse than Aaron Jones. Dillon turns 26 in May. I do think that with Josh Jacobs in town, A.J. Dillon here, I don't think they're going to take a running back in round 2, but they have 2 picks in the 3rd round at 88 and 91, and they could absolutely take a running back there. Dillon's on a 1-year deal. They can get out of Josh Jacobs' deal after just 1 year. I think they need another running back in this room. So since Dillon's not even guaranteed to be the backup, I was hoping he'd sign with the Cowboys. Didn't do that. I moved him down a couple of spots. I think by a few weeks in, he could be the RB3, and we just have no interest in him whatsoever. Last piece of news, and this happened right before I started recording. Cowboys cut Michael Gallup. It's about time. There was a guarantee pending on March 18th. I don't think they wanted to pay that. Gallup hasn't done anything for 3 years. He hasn't reached 40 receptions or 450 yards since 2020. I don't think there's any interest in Michael Gallup for any significant amount of money. I do think a team will sign him as a wide receiver 3 on their team. I don't think I'm going to be interested for fantasy, but we'll see where he resumes his career. Now, I want to thank everyone for watching this video. If you like the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. That's the best way to support the channel. Additionally, if you want to see all of my rankings where all these players are ranked in Dynasty, you can sign up for the Patreon up there. Patreon.com/fantasy advice. You can see all my Dynasty ranks, my rookie ranks, my pick value chart, and also interact in the Patreon Discord. But until next time, I want to thank everyone for watching all 5 of these videos this week, and I will see you all later. Peace out.